Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to revise fractions, okay? Now, fractions is often something that children feel are difficult. And if you're somebody that thinks fractions are totally difficult, maybe it's because you're used to working with whole numbers, multiplying, subtracting, adding, dividing, and fractions just seem more complicated, okay? I would like you to try and change this opinion and just be open to fractions. We need to treat fractions in different ways, yes, but they're not overly complicated. We try and apply our use of fractions to real life situations because in life we use maths every day. And it's important that we understand these things, okay? You know I like talking about pizza, so would you prefer, if you were really hungry, would you prefer a sixth of a pizza or a half of a pizza? Okay? That means that we know a half a pizza. If we're really hungry, we prefer that, okay? That means a half is bigger than a sixth. So if the numerator is 1, the number on the bottom then, which is the denominator, the smaller that number is, the bigger the fraction. Okay? So even though 6 is a bigger number, we're dividing 1 pizza between 6 people. Okay? It's 1 pizza divided between 6 people. Or here, 1 pizza divided into 2 equal parts between 2 people. Anyway, that's just a bit of an aside. This book is the book that I use in station teaching, and it's full of real life problems. So if you have a look here, there is an example worked out. So it says Lily is 1/3 of her Aunt Rachel's age. If Rachel is 33, how old is Lily? So using that information, you have to figure out Lily's age. Okay, and here it goes down through the steps. Some people will find it really easy, they'll come up with the number straight away, but if not, have a look at the hints that they give you. Okay, also, over the next coming days, you might want to use a fraction wall. I just searched fraction wall on Google. I chose the images, and there were so many examples. Okay, so you can do the same if you do not have a fraction wall at home. You could print one out if you wanted. You could make your own, although you need to be very accurate. Or maybe you don't need one at all. But if you do, please search fraction wall on the computer. Okay, let's look at number 1. Lily invited 7 of her friends to her birthday party at a roller disco. Cool, a disco on roller skates or rollerblades. 1/4 of the group, including Lily, wore white roller skates. The remaining children wore black roller skates. How many children wore black roller skates? So it says, let's look at the information. It says Lily invited 7 of her friends. Okay, so that tells us the number of people who were invited. Then it tells us that 1/4 of the group, including Lily. So we need to think how many children were in the group. She invited 7 of her friends, but she was also there. So what is the total number of children in the group at her birthday? Okay. And then we know 1/4 of them wore white roller skates, and then the rest of them wore black roller skates. With that information, there are a couple of different ways you could go about solving the problem. Okay? Have a think about it. You might want to draw stick children. Okay? So you could do something like this, and you could do W for white, B for black. And this is if you're finding it difficult, okay, just to try and imagine the problem. And then you have some space here to do your work. Now, in number 2, we need to retain the information that we had from question 1. It says there were 4 other children at the roller disco at the same time as Lily and her friends. So now we have Lily and her friends, the amount of people that were in that group, and we have to add on 4 other children to find out how many were in the roller disco at the same time. It says 1/3 of all the children there wore knee pads. 1/6 wore elbow pads, and the rest wore no protective clothing. Now, it doesn't say it here, but to work, we need to make sure that it's 1/3 of the children wore knee pads, okay? 1/6 of the children, not the same children, okay? Even though it could, in a normal situation, maybe some of them are wearing both. But it has to be 1/6 different children, okay, wore elbow pads, and then the rest wore no protective clothing, okay? To figure this out, boys and girls, I would make sure that I write these fractions using the same denominator. So, 1/3 is equal to how many sixths? Okay, we need to find out 1/3 is the same as how many sixths. Remember to do this. We look at the relationship between the pair of numbers that are both there. So both denominators are here. We need to multiply 3 by 2. Okay, then we do the exact same on the top. So 1 times 2, and we have 1/3 written as sixths. Okay, when we have this answer, we know this amount of sixths have knee pads. This amount of sixths have elbow pads. And how many sixths have nothing? Now, the question didn't say how many sixths, it said how many children. So once you have the details of how many sixths wore no protective clothing, you can work out how many of the 12 children did not wear any protective clothing. Okay? I'll get a new page here because I'm after using up all that. In the last one, it says when 50 minutes of the roller disco had passed, Lily and her friend were 2/3 of the way through the party. So we know that 2/3 of the party is 50 minutes. Okay? And they want us to find out how much time in total did they have at the party. We need to think, if 2/3 is equal to 50, well then what is 1/3 equal to? How many minutes is 1/3? If 2 of them is 50, what is 1 of them? And once we have that answer, okay, we can get the whole amount, which is 3/3, which is this answer multiplied by 3. Okay? And that will give us our total minutes. And be careful, because it says write your answers in hours and minutes. Boys and girls, these questions are quite straightforward, but there's a number of parts to each one. So take your time, try your best, and read over the question again to make sure you're happy with your answer once you get it. Okay? Off you go.